Nice.
Hey, everybody, it's the SideQuest Live. We got nothing going on. It is a beautiful, wonderful Wednesday evening. You know, the day that that nobody works extra late. So it's always good. Don't have to come in that day. I'm just kidding. I actually just got off a long-ass conference call. It's me, your boy. It's your boy, Dali and Joining me is Aaron Kelly.
Are you tuning it up just because it's the two of us?
It's
Are
totally...
you just layering it on to make up for the fact that we have no other guests this week?
No, Tom Hardy's going to join us, talk all about Venom. Just kidding.
Good.
Brock. Yeah. Hey, how's it going, Aaron?
I mean, it's all right.
It's just the two of us.
It's been a long week.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How's that hair growing back?
Oh, it's I shaved it, so it's.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw it the other week. I
Yep.
think I showed it off before we started. It was down to the skull, and now it's grown in already. So
Nice. Yeah, I had that mohawk right down the middle, and now it's already growing back.
Yeah, I had the mohawk, and I ran out of shampoo, and I was like, it's cheaper to just get my head shaved and use a bar of soap for a while than it is to buy more shampoo. So
nice. Okay.
Yeah. Practical.
Right. That is practical. Yeah, just shave your head when you don't need to. Then you don't need to wash it, so that's good. Just let the lights
you use a bar of soap.
Yeah, it's true. Just another part of your body at that point, right?
Yep.
Good. just another part of your body. Oh boy, it's gonna be one of those podcasts because we got nobody, and we're gonna have to fill the.
We got nobody, and I think we got nothing really to talk about.
No, there are a couple things actually. We can have a nice, fun, short podcast. Although last time I said that we ran for like an hour and a half.
Yeah, we did.
It was just you and I. We can have a nice short podcast today. We can talk about some of the games we've been playing, and there actually is some breaking news as we're recording, which we'll get into. I'll tell you what I've been playing, and then you can tell me what you've been playing.
All right.
What I've been playing is Dragalia Lost, Nintendo's hot new jam for mobile devices. And let me tell you, everybody, it is not good.
Nope.
It is not. It is poop. I never really react that way to a game, but it wants to be too much for that type of platform. It wants to be too much for that kind of game and that kind of platform, if that makes sense.
I'll tell you this much. You know, it sucked. You know, the very first thing that I noticed that turned me off of that game.
What's that?
You have to drag your finger around to move the character around, and if you drag across the screen, the arrow extends and pulls away from the character, and then they just freak out.
They freak out, and then your finger goes all the way off the screen, and you're like, shit, I have to reset. So you have to find another spot on the screen to start moving from again. It's bad control design. You do not want to do that. Nope.
I would maybe play that game on a console.
You know what? I would too, because it does really feel like a console game that wants to be on a console, but they've stuck it on a non-console. There are... They announced the first like 5 days or first week of availability has only amounted to like $3 million for Nintendo, which is the lowest out of all the games that they've put out. Miitomo didn't really make any money ever, but like Fire Emblem made something like $10 million in its first week, and
Mario pulls in huge dollars.
Yeah, it's still pulling in huge dollars. Mario made a bunch, but only because you had to buy the game.
Yeah.
And you know, they what was the other one that they released? Animal Crossing. Even that made more money than Dragalia Lost. So yeah, it's overly complicated. They lock a bunch of the stuff. So let me tell you what kind of game it is. Maybe that'll help for those people that are listening and haven't started it yet. It's kind of like a loot dungeon crawler type of thing, where you get you get a small team of characters. You have your kind of star athlete, and then you can the hero, seventh in line of the Alberian Empire, and then you add other characters on top of that, and you can either win them in random draws, which you get one free per day, or you pay in-game currency, which you could buy. And then you just go on little raids, and that's it. You try to get loot. And I know there's actual raids that you can do. That the co-op stuff gets unlocked after like, 40 chapters into the game. You can actually. It's a very. I don't know if it's a Nintendo-ish thing to do, or if it's the Cygames who are the makers of this, but. Yeah, the multiplayer doesn't get unlocked until really too far into the game. By then, you've probably turned it off already. The amount of currency that you need to upgrade everything in the game, because your characters will get slaughtered pretty quickly. There's like 10 different kinds of currencies at least, and it's all gacha based. So you can get rare items or you can get common items.
Yo, so speaking of that,
yeah,
that animation sucks.
Yeah, it does.
Like it's not like I played a lot of that. I played a tiny little bit of Fire Emblem.
Mm-hmm.
I played a lot of the Dragon Ball Z, with Dokkan Battle or whatever it's called, and the animation from opening stuff in both of those games is addicting. You're like, oh, this feels so good. Oh, I only got a 3-star thing, but it was still really fun to open. This one is just like, fuck it. This isn't anything. Oh yeah, I got a cowboy. His name's Joe.
Yeah, they're uninteresting characters. Very uninteresting characters. There's, God, it's like it kind of wants to be a sort of dungeon crawling Fire Emblem in a weird way, because the Fire Emblem game on iOS on mobile devices is actually kind of interesting. It's a really simplified version of Fire Emblem, but it works on that device because the battlefield, it's just kind of battlefield based in small battles, but it seems like they try to take a little bit of the gotcha-ness of that and put it into Dragalia, and it just doesn't work. But yeah, I don't like the animation. This needs to be a console game. I don't like the story. I know some folks are really kind of enjoying the plot elements of it, but I don't think they're very good at all. Sorry, it just isn't interesting to me.
I mean, I'll be honest. I only played up to I played like the first 5 missions or something like that.
Yeah.
On top of the prologue. So I don't know anything about that story. I thought the part right at the start when you take a swing at the evil girl and it's your sister and you're like, what? That was enough of a hook for me for an RPG.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, all right. But I'll scope the Wikipedia page out at some point.
Yeah.
I'll get the story that way.
There's it's very story based of this game, because in between the dungeon crawl, if you play the campaign, in between the dungeon crawling missions, there's usually 1 or 2 kind of story based mini missions, which you have to just kind of sit and read dialogue for a couple of minutes at a time, and you can be real slow, or you can do what I do and just kind of start tapping through stuff because you get kind of bored of it. Yeah, they just hop into dungeon crawling. It's a lot of the same levels, and it has to download. One thing that's kind of annoying is it has to download everything prior to the level starting. So you're downloading like 1.5 MB or 2 megs or half a meg, but you're always downloading something in the game to get these levels to work, which is so bizarre to me. It'll say, hey, do you want to download this? Will be a 1.6 megabyte download to kick off this level. And I'm thinking, shouldn't that be like built into the game instead of constantly downloading stuff? I gotta imagine if you play this game enough, it's gonna be gigs and gigs of space on your stupid phone. So even before I've got it and one other game installed on my phone, and my phone's memory is like half eaten up already. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm curious. I'm gonna do a quick little check. I say quick little check, but this is the iPhone, so it'll take forever to check.
While you're doing that, so the animations in the game suck, but on top of that, the actual flow of the animation sucks. Like it hitches. Like in game it's fine.
Yeah.
Like the actual animations that are playing while you're moving and fighting, but like all the story animations, like anything that's even remotely animated, like hitches quite badly.
Huh.
At least on my phone.
It's not so bad on my phone, I will say. Okay, come on, show me more of the stuff here. I think that I do have issues for, and I have the iPhone X, so just last year's model. I do have actual issues where the game will sort of skip and do some weird things.
Yeah.
And I don't mean like skip, but I think they're design choices. Like when you're attacking, you just kind of tap you gotta get your character facing the right direction, and then you just tap towards the enemy. But if you tap more than once, then they essentially go through like a set combo animation, and you can't get out of it. And then all of a sudden, you're like, you get pulverized because your character just went into a combo attack mode, and it kind of sucks. So, yeah, I think there are some design issues, and there are all kinds of stuff. I can't see, for some reason Apple won't let me take a look at the thing. But yeah, I really think. Oh, here we go. It started. It's showing now. I really think that they're gonna need to get a lot of work done. Oh my lord, 2.63 gigabytes already.
Yeah, it's huge.
The app size itself is 2.54 gigs. Holy shit. And it still has to download stuff? That is insane. By comparison, it's more than Fortnite. It's more than PUBG. It's more than all the videos I've downloaded on Amazon Prime. And yeah, so there's a lot of freaking space on this game. That's crazy. Fortnite did whatever they did with Fortnite. They did a good job of optimizing that game. That's really down low.
It's like 2 odd gigs, like straight up, and then every single thing you do, you have to download. Like, no, but yeah. So this game didn't even release in most of the world. It released in Japan, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Macau, and the U.S. So I'm in Canada, but luckily I have an Android phone, so I just had to find a working.
Sideload it. Yeah.
And so I did that to connect. And it was like I was saying to you before we hit start. It took me longer to teach myself how to do that, because I've never done it before, to get the game to run, than it did for me to stop playing the game. Like I played, like I said, like the first 5 levels, and just everything about that game is off-putting. What's up with the terminology? Why is combining items called unbinding them?
Yeah, it's like the opposite of what you want to do. Like unbinding means separating, right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you want to bind them?
Like a book is bound. If you unbind it, you're separating the pages.
All the pages fall out. And maybe all the pages fell out of this bad boy, because that sure seems like it. But yeah, Dragalia Lost, it's going to need to go through. So I really want to play with the controller. I don't know. Can you? I'll have to figure out if you can hook up Bluetooth controller to this and start playing with it, because that might be a better thing than what they got going on now. So maybe I'll give that a shot.
Yeah, it might be better with a controller, but I mean,
even
all the rest of the game is still the same. So.
It's still touch, yeah.
Yeah.
It does have sort of a Smash Brothers ish graphical overlay type of thing, because if anybody has played any of Sakurai's games on Nintendo systems like Smash Brothers, and even the really awesome Kid Icarus game that came out a few years back. They have sort of that kind of cool, very punchy graphic overlay, and it seems like the Dragalia Lost copies that a little bit here. So it graphically, for that kind of stuff, looks kind of nice. But I'm kind of sick of the chibi stuff. It just doesn't work for me, especially when you have games that are accomplishing a lot more with fewer megabytes in this thing. And again, 2.6 gigs of space, and I have no idea where it's all going. Because the game is not that big. It is not that big.
I'll tell you. It does one thing that I actually really think is kind of fun. When you're like at just like the main screen or whatever, the main character is just like walking down a road, and all the characters you've unlocked are just hanging out like on fences and stuff, and they're just like, "Hey, what's up, champ? How you doing?"
Yeah, that is kind of funny.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool.
One of the guys, talks about. Let's see if I can open it up. If it's that dude. He'll talk about like, everything's so boring when we're not, he just talks about, it kind of razzes you a little bit. So there's some good. See, I'm walking past somebody right now. For those people that can see, there we go. The sun has set. Well, thanks for letting me know. We could use a little more. We could use a little fun around here. Boy, have those words needed to be said for Dragalia Lost, but whatever. So yeah, I've been playing that, and I think I'm just going to kind of finish the single player quest, which unlocks all the dragons, and it's unfortunately one of the games that needs to be online all the time, which really sucks with Nintendo stuff, but whatever.
I had to sign into that game with my Gmail account, because it would not accept my Nintendo account password.
Oh, geez.
It'd be like, this isn't a valid email password combination. And then, would you like to reset your password? So you click that, and it opens up a website, which is like the Nintendo account website. And I type my information in, and it logs me in. And I'm like, okay. So I changed my password, and then I type that in on this thing.
It doesn't work.
It says nope. And it did the same thing to me with Fire Emblem.
Well, there you go. Dragalia lost. Nobody on staff is enjoying it from who I've talked. Maybe Zach a little bit, but even he is feeling a little bit of a trepidation towards it. So Nintendo seems to have missed quite a bit with that. And they set it up a lot more than they've set up any other of their mobile games, because they really were pushing for this thing to be something kind of big, and it's not. But we'll see. Maybe it's something that they'll. One thing I heard that somebody mentioned was Cygames turns a lot of their games into anime. So maybe Nintendo's pushing to get some type of anime out of this thing. But yeah, I'm not. Dragalia lost my interest fairly quickly. I've been waiting for that one. Another game I've been playing, I mentioned I'm still plowing through South Park and some getting a Spider-Man and some other games. But,
have you been getting into Spider-Man?
I installed it. So I've been working on painting over the last few days. So in house painting, so I haven't had a chance to do too much. But I have been playing Arena of Valor on the Switch, which it's a little buggy, even though it went through some of the beta testing. There's some a little bit of bugginess, but
is that Clash of Clans, or is that
it's MOBA? It's Arena of Valor is
League of Legends.
It's League of Legends Dota. It's pretty. I mean, it's a Dota game. It's a clone, but it's actually pretty good. Surprisingly, you can get into that game a lot quicker than you can Dragalia Lost, and that game is obviously MOBAs can be far more complex than loot hunting type of games. But I got into it. I like it. I like the character design. It looks really nice on the Switch in handheld mode. And I haven't played it on the big screen yet, but I imagine it probably looks okay on there too. So, but yeah, I think I'm gonna try my hand at. That's my first MOBA. I've never played a MOBA before. I've downloaded Dota and League of Legends and everything else, but it's my first time. So we'll see how it goes forward with this thing. And then just gearing down for all the other games that are coming out. But what are you playing, my main man? Well, let me tell you.
Since it's only the two of us here, since Tom's not here and John's not here,
Octopath Traveler.
No, God no. I want to reveal something though that they're gonna hate that they weren't here for. I have tried a new food. Not a taco.
Okay.
But I just it's like tacos are the joke. Tacos are the joke, right. But I walked into the Chinese place the other day, and I was just like, I was looking at their menu and stuff, and they had been closed for like 4 days straight, and then they were open. I was like, all right, I'm gonna see what's up, maybe get something to eat. And I'm like, yeah, I want to get, and they cut me off, and they're like, we don't have any rice. I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, we ran out of rice. We don't have any. I was like, all right, I want something spicy then, and I guess without rice. And they're like, all right, I'll make you something. And then they came out with this dish, and it was like, this is N5. I'm like, cool. And I walk away, and I have a menu at my house, so I'm flipping through the menu, and it's fried vermicelli Singapore style noodles.
Ooh,
really tasty.
Yeah,
not spicy. Or it's either not spicy or my tolerance for spice is really high, because I just like I eat like raw jalapenos and stuff, right? Like I just. But yeah, no, really tasty. But I've tried a new food. And neither Tom nor John are here.
Well, I'm proud of you, man. That's big steps. You've broken out of your grilled cheese and mac days and moved on to.
Oh, I'll never move away from mac and cheese.
No, you can't. It does remind me a little bit of this Thai place. I used to go to this Thai place all the time at when I was out in college. I drove from my college where I was living up to my house, like 45 minutes away, just so I could go to this Thai place because the Thai food was so good. So I'd like waste my entire lunch just driving there, and I'd eat it in the car on the way back. But I got up there one time, and I love spicy food, so I I get to the counter. I'm like, yeah, I'll have the Bangkok chicken, which is sort of this like orange chicken flavored type of thing.
Mm.
And I'm like, yeah, just give me the hottest you got. They're like, okay, one hot chicken coming up. I go, that's the hottest you have? And I got to know all the guys there. They were all really funny. And they're like, well, they're like, it's really hot. I go, would you consider it being hot, or is it just what you have listed out of there? And then they turn, like the one guy at the counter turns to the guys behind him, and he turns back. He goes, well, that's white people hot is what we sell.
Yep.
I'm like, all right, give me Thai food hot. And he's like, are you sure? He's like, yeah.
I've had that conversation before.
Yep. So he goes in the back.
Like, listen. I know there's a difference between
there's a difference. Yeah,
and white people hot. Like, no, I get that.
He brings out they're good. They're getting my food ready, and they come out, and all the cooks come out, and I'm like, what's going on here? And they're like, we want you to try it before you leave because I bought it to go. I'm like, are you serious? Like, yeah, go ahead, try it. And they're like daring me. I'm like, well, yeah, I can do it. I can do anything. I'll do anything.
I bet it was really hot, wasn't it?
Holy fuck. This is my reaction. Take the chopstick, take a bite, and I'm like, yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. And instant waterworks out of my eyes, sweat, just everything was automatically pouring out of my face. It was hot. I mean, since then I've gotten much more used to spicy foods and like even ghost peppers and stuff like that every once in a while. But poblanos, things like that. But man, this was my first time, and they were laughing. They're like just falling over themselves laughing at me for eating like actual hot food instead of white people. Yeah. It was awesome. Good stuff. Well, I'm glad you were able to experience some of that with your journey.
Now I need to figure out if they have anything actually spicy.
Yeah, you can go in there. You can just say, what's not white people? Give me more than white people hot. That'd be good. So what have you been playing besides eating foods?
When we recorded the show last week, I think I had just started playing Dragon Quest.
Okay.
I think maybe. Like I was like maybe an hour in or something like that, or I hadn't even started.
Oh yeah, that's right. You were talking about some of the
metal slimes.
Yeah, the metal slimes. Like, hey guys, did you know metal slimes gives you lots of experience, and we're all bashing our heads. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm 71 hours in since last week.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I swear.
God, I think you like it.
It's pretty okay. So I played. So the game, as far as I know, is broken up into 3 acts.
Mm-hmm.
There's Act 1 and Act 2. The credits roll at the end of Act 2, and then Act 3 is like New Game Plus. But it's like a whole other story.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not like a New Game Plus in most every other game where it's just like, oh, we're gonna throw you back into the world and you can go clear everything up, or you can start over and play the whole same story again, but you keep everything.
Sure.
This is like we're gonna set up a story hook that happens in the main game, and then you're gonna start your save file again, and it's an epilogue to the first story, and then at the end of that, they're like, yeah, but you could do this thing. And then you do it, and the New Game Plus kicks off, and it's a completely other story. It's like 2 games in one.
Awesome.
Oh, the best part is like you start over the New Game Plus, and the events play out similarly at the start, and then you kill the final boss from the first 2 parts in like the first 20 minutes.
Nice.
You just do that. That's the first thing you do in the New Game Plus, and then there's the whole other game there, and it's so fucking hard.
I love it.
So incredibly. I had 2 bosses in the main game gave me any kind of issue at all, and the rest of the game was a cakewalk.
Mm-hmm. That's typical of the series, yeah.
And everybody else kept telling me, like, yeah, usually it starts off really, really easy, and then there's like a huge difficulty spike, and that just didn't exist. Like, I'd have a difficult boss, and then the game would just be a cakewalk again, and then I'd have like one more difficult boss. And then
once you've built, usually with those games, once you've built up enough to take on a boss, even and if you meet a boss that's difficult, and then you kind of beat them. A lot of the stuff that I found out, because I'm playing a bunch of them right now, portable ones. A lot of the stuff you kind of learn from taking on that boss in a weird way makes the rest of the game a lot easier. I don't know why.
Put 3 healers in your party.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah.
But so now I'm just I'm looking up. I got to look up like where to get specific materials. Like there's a menu in the game that if anything you've ever collected, it'll tell you where it drops or where you can buy it. So I'm just going to figure out the stuff I need to craft stuff, and then I'm gonna go get that stuff so I can grind, because every single thing in New Game Plus is kicking my ass.
Wow, nice.
Every single thing.
Excellent, excellent.
Excuse me. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. Like 71 hours on top of my job is
literally a week. You've clocked all that time in. That's awesome.
I think I might have more time in than Corey does right now, and he's owned it longer than I have.
Holy shit, he's had it for like a month and a half. So you're playing on PS4?
Yeah, I got that downloaded the digital version onto the old PS4 Pro.
Nice. The old PS4 Pro.
Yeah. I mean, it looks nice. It plays very nice. The load times aren't obscene, but I was thinking about this. So, like, every time you teleport in that game anywhere, like anywhere, or do anything, or go into a new zone, there's like a very quick like loading thing, and they show like tips or whatever, and it's fine. But I was sitting there, I was just watching this loading bar climb, and I was like, wasn't there a point somewhere around the PS3, Xbox 360 generation where the goal was to remove load times forever?
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep.
That
came back with the passion.
Yeah, dude. Like, did they ever succeed? Like, did they hit that and they were just like, it wasn't worth it? Or did they just never succeed and just stop trying?
So I think this is a point where I've had this conversation with coworkers actually about just PC hardware in general. Whenever, and I think the same way with consoles and everything else, whenever someone creates a software product and then the consoles kind of build up, or let's say the PCs build up to meet that, they're actually it's like weird. Like, you build up a PC with all this stuff on there, and it still doesn't solve the issues of like the original software problems. And instead, software makers will push harder on more stuff instead of solving those original problems. So you still have a lot of those same exact problems that you had the previous generation of devices, but it's like you're almost focusing on the wrong things. I don't know. It's kind of bizarre. I looked at like we were using some CAD software, we were using Windows, and some stuff which would be, if you install Windows XP on a new computer today, I mean, it should be fucking fast, right? It should be flying. You shouldn't have Windows should have zero issues on the market, because Windows has been around for like 30 or 40 years. So it should not have any problems whatsoever. And yet still software has problems keeping up to the hardware, and then it almost feels like it goes past that. I don't know. It's a messy thing.
Software has problems keeping up with itself, man.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You remember all those issues I had with Windows 10? Like,
yep.
Like, I had to get like going through tech after tech trying to get their own store app to work for me. Like fuck.
It's bizarre. Anyways, I understand it. I have the fucking Switch. Sorry, pardon my French. I have the Switch, and obviously, and there are still plenty. It's cartridge based, and there are plenty of games that have exorbitant, like crazy loading times. The one that I'm finishing up now, writing the review for, The Gardens Between. I mentioned it last week. Phenomenal game. Love it. It may be one of my top like 3 games of the year so far. But those loading times are like, holy, you're just sitting there waiting. Same with South Park. With South Park, you just sit and wait for like 2-3 minutes for a loading screen to go by. I'm like, guys, this is 2018. We're in 2019. Come on, fix this. But whatever.
Yeah, it's
whatevs.
But yeah, that's
okay, good. So Dragon Quest 11. I'm gonna pick this up. I was almost gonna pick it up for the PS4. But then I decided I'm going to hold off for the Switch version, just because whatever's coming to Switch was where I'm going to buy it.
I'm talking completely without expertise here, but apparently Dragon Quest 11 has a 3DS version
in Japan, a pretty cool, phenomenal 3DS version.
So there's a feature in that game, like as you're walking around in the game, there are these little fucking ghost thingies, and they're everywhere.
Yeah.
And you see them, and you can't do anything with them. And apparently that's a thing in the 3DS version. Like they all.
The 3DS. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm just saying they're everywhere. It's like you can't walk 20 steps without seeing like sitting up on like a ledge or like walking down the street or some shit like that, seeing one of these little ghosts. And you're just like, what do you do? What's going on? Like I spent like an hour when I first got the game just like trying to walk up to one and see if there was a prompt, or trying to go into you can press in the left stick and it goes into like photo mode, like first person mode, and you can like look around, like trying to see if there was a way to like, does something happen if you snap a screenshot? Does it like do something to the screenshot? And like, nah, turns out it's just nothing. It's just a feature that they didn't put into the game.
Wow. They so the 3DS version actually lets you play the game in like 3DS, typical 3DS game mode, and a top-down 2D classic Dragon Quest like mode. And and you could play that game. You could play it either way. I think through most of the game until like the very end. You kind of have to use the 3DS mode, but you can have both screens up, the 3D version on top, and then on the bottom screen could be the 2D version, and you're functioning them at the same time and just looking at whatever screen you want, which is a pretty cool ass feature. So apparently the Switch version is going to be different enough from the PS4 version to get people to want to buy it, which I'm guessing there may be something similar to this built into the Switch version. You know, maybe there's a way to do a sort of 3D look like the PS4 has, but then switch to whatever the 2D version of the 3DS had, which could be pretty badass. I think it's a neat way. I mean, it is basically two games in one when you think about it. So, I'll wait for that to come out. So the 3DS version had the Street Pass with those features in it, those little ghosts, and the ghosts in the Street Pass opened up a whole separate like side-scrolling mini game, like dungeon crawling mini game. So there was the 3DS version really was content-wise the one to get, but it's kind of bizarre that they're not translating over. But actually, I understand why the 3DS is pretty much dead in the US. So I can understand why it's not coming over. But it did really well in Japan on the 3DS. So I think it would do gangbusters on the Switch, to be honest.
And not to just since we're talking about it right now, not to jump into news too much, but wasn't there a report that came out that said that Dragon Quest XI has to do obscenely well for them to localize any more Dragon Quests in the West?
They always say that, but they've brought over they brought over a bunch of different Dragon Quest games. Like Dragon Quest Builders came out on the Switch in the US, and it's on PS4 as well. And they're making a second game that I think is also coming to the West. And Dragon Quest Builders, I have it. It's not bad. It's Minecraft-y. Minecraft meets Dragon Quest in a weird way, and it works. And then the Dragon Quest Heroes game, which was like the Musou Warriors type of game. But there's a lot of Dragon Quest content. The mainline Dragon Quest games, I read that rumor as well. But I think it's a big enough IP now that Square Enix could. It's different. It's a big enough IP and is different enough from Final Fantasy that I think there's a certain nostalgic group of a clique of gamers, a niche of gamers that are big into the Dragon Quest games. So,
well, and now that
they don't promote it at all. They do a horrible, crappy job of promoting Dragon Quest in the US.
Well, I mean, like I said, like this is the first one of these I've ever played, and the only reason I'd ever heard of it was because people on staff were talking about it.
Yeah.
Like I never saw an ad for it.
There weren't any.
Yeah.
It's kind of a shame because they're great games. If you do get a chance and you're bored as hell and you want to play some of the older games, I'm actually replaying the first Dragon Quest game on my iOS. It's also got kind of crappy controls because touchscreen doesn't seem to work on with some of the Square old school role playing games where it should, I guess. But I'm replaying the first one, which is not a great game, definitely not by today's standards. And they sort of tried upgrading the visuals, and that didn't work. But if you're bored, replay that first one because it's easy as fuck. It's very grindy. That first game was all about grinding. But
how many metal slimes were in it?
I don't think there are any metal slimes in the first one. Yeah, they didn't appear until the second Dragon Quest game, which the second Dragon Quest game was the hard Dragon Quest game. Holy shit. That one was I know very few people that finished the second game because of the difficulty spike, and it just felt unfair this is the NES version going way back, so very unfair, but Yeah, the third game is my favorite. I think that's probably one of the best RPGs of all time. The third Dragon Quest game. So they have a cool job system in that one. But yeah, anyways, good. I'm looking for. I mean, everybody that plays Dragon Quest 11 absolutely loves it. I mean, everybody loved it. It got higher reviews than Spider-Man did for that release week. People aren't really talking.
Did it really?
I think it did on Metacritic. It ranked higher than Spider-Man. So
people are out of their fucking minds, and I like both of those games.
I'm checking right now. Metacritic. Let's see here. We were doing this live. Spider-Man PS4. Here we go. 87. And then let's check.
Spider-Man's only got an 87?
Yeah.
That's some bullshit.
Dragon Quest 11. Oh, 86. Wow. So there you go. Caught up.
87
they're the same
for Spider-Man.
They're basically the same.
They are the same.
So they are. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, there we go. Assassin's Creed comes out this week, and Forza 4 is getting good reviews. Mario Party is getting some decent reviews. Actually, Assassin's Creed is getting an 85, which puts it at actually less than Dragon Quest and Spider-Man. So that's something. But yeah, good Dragon Quest. I do hope they keep bringing it to the US because I love those games. I've played every single one. I've completed every single one except for the online one, which we never got in the US. Although you can play it if you have a US Switch, and you get your Japanese account in there, and you got to kind of finagle things a little bit. But I'm finishing up Dragon Quest 6 right now on the 3DS because I'd never finished that game. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, I played this one and I liked it, so I care now. So send more over here, Square, and send me a slime hat. Good man.
Those slime hats are nice. I will say that they released some badass looking 3DS and PS4 models that were. Have you seen the Metal Slime PS4, the Metal Slime 3DS?
No,
dude, do a search for that. They are pretty hot. They're pretty awesome. Like I would totally.
Oh man, yeah. Look at that thing.
Yep. I almost like that 3DS more than the PS4. This is something I do wish they would bring to the US because that thing was hot. Anyways, yeah, Dragon Quest 11, good stuff. And that's basically it. You said that you've been playing
that's literally it, dude. Like I get home from work and I slap that on and I just go, and then it's like I go until like 5 a.m.
It's a very grindy type of game, but that's totally fine. Oh, and there was also a Dragon Quest controller I think it was for the PS4, which I got to send this over to you. That was, it's like this big ball, a big silver. Just do a search for Dragon Quest controller. It's a PS controller. It is bizarre.
I do a thing on Twitter 4 times a year thereabouts where I rip into the new season of anime.
Okay. Yeah.
And specifically, I do a running tally of how many isekai animes there are, which are the ones where it's the genre where like somebody from the regular world gets transported into a fantasy world, and there's usually some gimmick. There's already one. The new anime season started up, and this time the guy gets reborn in a new world as a slime.
Oh, nice.
That's totally true. That's a thing. So,
yeah, the slime kind of became its own character genre in Japanese culture, which is pretty crazy.
Holy shit! I would use that controller.
Yeah, isn't that might actually fit your hand?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's a basketball size controller. If you're looking for anime, the entire run, at least the US run of the Dragon Quest, Dragon Warrior anime, I think there were like 12 issues or 12 episodes in the US. It's actually really good. It retells the Dragon Quest 3 story. I posted the first episode online. If you do a search on SideQuesting.com, it's a website, your favorite website, where we talk about video games. Just do a search for Dragon Warrior TV show, and you'll find the first episode on there.
Dragon Quest 3 was the one where one of the jobs was like Playboy model, right?
Yep. Dancer or Playboy model, whatever, and the puff stuff, which is basically boob hand job type of thing, I think, right? Yeah, Dragon Quest, good stuff. Speaking of anime and moving pictures, breaking news: Mega Man live action movie announced to be distributed by 20th Century Fox, which will be Disney momentarily. Capcom posted the press release, and it's just making the rounds right now. But it's the film's tentatively titled Mega Man, written and directed by Henry Joost and Ariel Schulman, and will be distributed by 20th Century Fox. And it's the company that makes produced by the company that made the Planet of the Apes, the new trilogy. And yeah, there you go. That's their Mega Man game coming out, or Mega Man movie coming out at some point. The anime, the cartoon came out in the US and just kind of fell to a thud. I think it was on Cartoon Network.
Are we talking about the original cartoon that was on the Bozo Super Sunday show?
No, the one that's on now that just came out, which is Mega Man is a kid in a classroom that can turn into a robot hero.
Can he also turn into a car?
I remember that. No, that original Mega Man cartoon was pretty good. Actually, do you remember Mega Man on Captain N, the Game Master? I'd recommend.
Yeah. He was like a full adult and shit, right?
Yeah,
like
total. Yeah, it was like this chubby dude. And he was green and basically green and yellow. It's just so bizarre. Really a bizarre Mega Man, not the real Mega Man at all, but whatever.
Well, if you want to talk about dumb bullshit, that's totally not going to work at all. CCP Games is making a new first-person shooter.
Oh my god!
They're the people who make EVE Online and who have already tried this once before with Dust 514.
Yeah, but they also did the those VR shooting games as well, right?
Yeah. So people who had bought into Dust 514 all got an email.
Okay.
Saying that you can claim your Dust name in this new game that they're making. And then that's basically it. Like, there's no real details or anything like that.
Huh.
It's called Project Nova, I think, but it's a first-person shooter. And
that was. Do you remember their pitch for Dust, which was it's totally set in the EVE universe. In fact, anything that happens in EVE happens in the game because all our servers are tied together. So you can do the first-person stuff, and that will affect the rest of the EVE Online world. It didn't.
No, it didn't. I was playing EVE when that game was live, and I never noticed anything. And also, it was the most ridiculous thing because Dust was like a PlayStation exclusive. Like, it was a console exclusive, and EVE Online is a PC game. Yeah,
how does that work? I remember they were pitching it to us so hard, and we're like, yeah, it's not gonna. I don't think it's gonna do well, guys. But whatever. Let's see what other news we got here. I
got a couple.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have no segues for most of it. It's just saying
that's all right. I'll do my best to pretend segue.
Nothing thematically. BlizzCon, their schedule is available, and they have 2 Diablo things. So I mean, what does that look like? It looks like new Diablo to me.
Yeah. So reminder that Diablo 3 is coming out for the Switch right before BlizzCon. So they're not going to be. They may have one of their Diablo things might be bringing Diablo to the Switch or to a new generation, but they're announcing a new Diablo game. They got to be making like Diablo 4. Wasn't there like Diablo Online was rumored for a while as well?
Yeah, but I mean they'll never do that.
Yeah.
They'll never do that because they don't want to cut into that sweet WoW money.
Yeah,
like they don't want to siphon their own customers off.
What else you got there, brother?
I'm just having a look. That you might not have even seen this. There was a thing on Twitter about a Harry Potter game got leaked.
Oh yeah, that leaked Harry Potter game.
Yeah, and turns out it's real, but it's not being developed by Rocksteady, which is what the rumor was. Eurogamer's got that report.
It's being developed by Avalanche. The rumor is, I think.
I don't know who.
I believe it is. Okay.
Well, so it's not been confirmed that it's Avalanche, but Avalanche has quote been staffing up for a larger project for some time.
With they were looking for people with British accents, right?
British accent and deep knowledge of British culture, so that could be that.
And magic, and if they understand what Hogwarts is backwards. Then.
Do they know how to pronounce Leviosa?
Strago. If you can say Strago backwards. Yeah, there you go. I don't know. I don't know what to think about this. I know some folks are kind of hyped up, but I don't know. I think our running joke in the chat room was, because these things tend to leak right before like press previews are up. So I'm sure the press has probably had a look at this in some form or another. This is my guesstimate, by the way, because we sure as hell haven't. But they do tend to leak right before some of the major press outlets start posting their previews of it. So we'll see. I don't know. I'm not a Potterhead, so I don't know.
I mean, I like the books back when they came out. I haven't really read them since, and I haven't seen the newest movie.
I haven't seen any. Oh, Fantastic Beasts is the only Harry Potter thing I've ever seen.
Really, it's the only one I haven't. Yeah, but yeah, that's that. They're making a DDR movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's a thing.
That's a thing. Yeah.
I don't know how you make a movie about that unless it's, some underdog dancing kids get up into the competition to save the rec center and compete in Dance Dance Revolution for the high score. And because fucking, I don't know. How do you make a movie about that? The only reason I'm talking about that is because I used to play DDR. So
sure.
I saw that and I was like,
your lanky ass legs used to play DDR.
Yeah, I did. Did I ever tell that? Oh man, did I ever tell the story?
Not.
You want to hear the story about when I was in high school?
Yes.
So I used to. So there's no arcade here. There's no theater here.
Mm-hmm.
The nearest theater that had a DDR machine is in the provincial capital, Halifax. I used to go to Halifax all the time. I used to hitchhike from where I live to Halifax and would spend a whole day there playing DDR. And a couple of my friends knew. Nobody really knew. I wasn't great at it. I was pretty good. Like I could complete songs on the hardest difficulty. I couldn't ace them or anything like that, but it was fun. Mm-hmm. Somehow this rumor got around in school that I was really, really good at DDR. And you know how there's always that group of kids that like don't hang out with anybody. They always stick in a classroom. Like they're always like the slightly weird kids. Like they're into some like really niche stuff. So they come up to me one day and they're like, "So we heard you're good at DDR." I'm like, "Yeah, I guess." They're like, "Yeah, we play DDR in the classroom like every day at lunch. We got a PS2 in there, and we borrowed one of the TVs, and we got the dance mats in there. We got like 2 of the regular mats, and we got my dad to bring in one of the big metal ones." Mm-hmm. I was like, "Oh shit, all right. So what's up?" And they're like, "Well, we kind of want to play against you and see who was better." I'm like, in my head at this point, I'm thinking, all right, they're probably way better than me. They play this shit every day. Like, they got all the pro gear and stuff like that. I'm like, fuck it. All right, let's go. So we roll in there, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna let you pick the song." So I flipped through the song. I found like one of the stupidly hard songs. Set it to the hardest difficulty. They're like, "You're playing on hardest difficulty?" I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "Oh, that's cool." They set it on medium, which is like, real. I'm like, "Oh fuck, this is gonna be one of those, isn't it?" We start playing, and I just demolish them. Like to the point where they picked a song on medium, and I'm pretty sure they could not play on medium. Like they played on the easiest difficulty, and then I just kind of fucking cleaned their clock, and they were just like, "Holy shit!" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go now. Bye." And then I think they stopped playing DDR at school, and never spoke to me again.
That's actually pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome.
And that's my DDR story.
So we have a few comments, by the way. Dr. Jones says, "What the fuck? This isn't Twitch." Thanks. I see you've been posting in there, so that's good.
Oh yeah.
Ryan is saying, "This is like the times in college when my roommate and I would go to the parties, and I'd convince people we just met that he does an amazing R2-D2 impression that he's shy about doing when he didn't, and you get really uncomfortable when they just kept pressing him on it." Did you get uncomfortable?
No, because I wasn't. Is there a word? I'm sure there's a word in German.
I'm sure there's a word.
Is there a word in German for where you're embarrassed on behalf of somebody else, but not yourself?
I don't know.
Because it was that for them.
It was that. That's awesome. That's fantastic.
Yep. But
I like that.
Yeah. But yeah, so anyway, I used to play a lot of DDR. I can't play it anymore, but I saw that and I was like, a DDR movie. I guess they could make a movie out of the story I just told.
That's there. Yeah, that could be it, right? It'd be like Mallrats 2. I don't know.
I don't know if that's a happy ending for anybody.
Who knows?
But, I think that's it.
Okay.
I mean, there's the Telltale stuff. I think the update to that came out after we recorded the show last week, I think, where they were releasing statements saying that they were looking to partner with some other company to finish The Walking Dead after they had laid off all their staff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so they fired, for anybody who's listening and didn't somehow miss this over the last week, Telltale Games fired without warning 250 people without severance.
Yeah, 220. It sounds like it was 225 people in the end.
I had heard it was 250 people, and there was 25 people left. But it was some amount of those, more than 200 people without severance. And I think as of today, none of them have healthcare anymore.
Nice, great.
A bunch of them. A couple of them have to leave the country because they were there on work visas, and they were fired. So now they're not working, which means it's illegal for them to be there, and they had no time or warning, so they couldn't line up a new job. At least one person had just moved across the country and started there a week before everybody was fired.
Yeah, that sucks.
And so that was a big shitty situation. And then like a day or two later, whoever it's still there at Telltale came out and said that they were looking into partnering up with like some prospective companies into finishing the games and putting them out for sale and stuff like that. And that's super fucked up.
Yep.
It's like you had people for that, dog. Like you had 200 and however many people that could have finished that game for you. All you had to do is keep paying them.
Well, I mean, literally the latest thing that I'm reading today was that yeah, like I said, they're looking to potentially contract in some of the employees that they just fired to finish those last 2 episodes. Like, guys, you're doing everything wrong in this situation. There's an easy way out and there's a difficult way out. You're totally taking the difficult way out.
Like, I'm 100% in for all of those employees getting paid any way they can right now until they line shit up.
Yep.
On the other hand, I really hope not a single one of them go back to work on this.
I agree too. Yeah, I hope
if they do, then like, you know, more power to them because they got to make that money. But like, if none of them do, that would just be so nice.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. I'm sure some of them probably have to eat. Although I don't know what the situation is like with contract workers with the game industry. I know in like the design industry and automotive industries, contract costs a lot more, and they charge a lot more than direct hires in a lot of ways, depending on what specialty you're looking for. Direct hires can be a little bit more affordable because you roll a lot of stuff into the like a lot of the overhead, like computers and stuff, is already rolled into your budgets. But contractors, they get to charge for computer usage.
Well,
and
so the cynic in me is thinking that they're going after their former employees to like kind of contract them in because they know they'll be desperate, and that means they can pay them less.
Yeah, that could be it too. Yeah, which is just garbage.
I hope I'm just making up. Like I have no basis of fact for that statement. That's what it sounds like to me. Because like, why would you do that?
Whew. Man, it is as usual a crappy situation. Anytime anybody gets let go at a company, but in this case, Telltale is just completely messing up. But yeah, well, we covered a lot. We did an hour.
Yeah, we did. We did an hour, and either of us only basically played one game.
Exactly. And I hated my dragon game, and you loved your dragon game.
Yeah.
Good. All right. Well, with that, you can find me at Dali Demosky. You can find us at SideQuesting. This is all over the Twitch, the Twitters and stuff, at SideQuesting TV on the Twitch, where I've been starting to upload these video clips. And SideQuesting.com. I'm at Dali Demosky. I think I mentioned it. Where can we find you, Aaron?
You can find me on Twitter and Twitch at ScrattyBones.
Beautiful.
I don't think I'm writing anything for Dragon Quest. I think the game is kind of past that window, so I'm basically just playing this for fun. I think. It hasn't really. If I felt like writing something, I would write something, but I'm not reviewing it, and it hasn't really done anything for me to write about. But yeah, so don't expect that.
All right. Well, with that, we'll see you guys in the next side quest. We love you.
Peace.
Peace.